It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavelich and Jesse Martineau.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. What's up?
It's 2022.
Is it 2020?
It's 2022.
I like even number years, and
You like
yeah,
odd number years too, though.
Yeah, I do. No, it's sometimes this year I like 2022. I like the ring to that.
Well, it's already started crappy.
Why?
Well, the Raiders in the playoffs, so hell.
Yeah. Listen,
something wrong is going on in hell right now.
Listen. I was going to come on with the hat, the everything, and I said, "Don't do it to him. Don't do it. Don't do it. It would be tack." But you know what the funny part is? I was thinking about you the whole game, and I cannot believe with the amount of disrespect you showed me by not even calling me or texting me.
I went to bed.
Oh, shame on you.
I actually went to bed before. I know. I had to get up early for the kids, back in school and everything.
That's right. Hey,
and I didn't watch a second of that game.
Probably the most exciting game of the year. Easily.
No, not the most.
Easily.
I will say this, though. I'm a huge Chargers fan now. They're my number 2 team now.
Oh, I feel even better now.
Well, no, yeah, I love Herbert. I really love that guy.
I don't like any of them. I don't like Bosa.
You gotta admit, that kid second year to come down and tie it up, that was pretty legit.
I think that was on our doing. Once again, when you're a Raiders fan, you find out that nothing's easy. Everything is painful. Even when you win, you don't realize you win till the next day. So when I woke up today, I felt like a winner, right? But
I actually do think they have a chance against the Bengals.
I do too. So I know the Bengals are playing pretty hot right now.
Well, of course they have a chance, but I actually think they have. I'd like to see the odds. I actually think they're
2-1 dog, 3-1 dog, 4-1 dog.
No. I give the Bengals 3.5. I give the Raiders 3.5. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I think if the Bengals are on that night, it's going to be ugly because that receiving core is mind blowing.
Burrow's first time in the playoffs though. Maybe his balls.
But yeah,
maybe
that's the thing. They're rookies. Yeah. There's a bunch of them there. They're all young, and again, it's one of those things. It could be the Bengals show up and put up 42 points, or it's a 27-28 game kind of thing.
Or Max Crosby turns into a psychopath like he was yesterday and literally puts it on those guys. I'm telling you right now, the kid, Max Crosby's a Pro Bowler for a reason. We saw that last night. He stepped up like, oh my God, he just punished their line on that side. And I'm telling you, they don't want to see Max. They have nightmares of Max Crosby right now. I'm telling you right now. And Carr's IQ went up about 0.5%. He's still a weak link on the grand scheme of things, but I'm giving him love today because we made the playoffs. And listen, it's great to make the playoffs, but we want to at least go a few rounds here, right? So if you don't, it's no big deal. It's like big deal. You played one extra week than the Seattle Seahawks. You know what I mean? So that that's it.
Well, welcome everybody. Me and Just Podcast 2022.
The holiday season's over.
It is. It's back to business now.
But yes,
we're back to business. So lots of going on in the sports while we were away. Very controversial. If you watch F1, very controversial finish there. Turned out for me because Max Verstappen won the world championship.
Yeah, I don't think it was controversial. I thought Max
controversial, but
I'm saying from a Mercedes guy, I'm talking from a Mercedes perspective. I don't think he was controversial whatsoever. I think Toto looked like a jackass by what he was doing. I'm a proud Mercedes F1 guy, and I think you should lose with the same dignity you do when you win. And Mercedes did not. They dropped the ball on that. And Max is going to be trouble for years to come, ladies and gentlemen. So
it's going to be really interesting in 2022 because the cars all changed. This is actually they're redesigning the whole thing. And it looks like either Porsche or Audi are going to be the new engine for Red Bull. So we're not sure. So it's that big German thing there too. Yeah. So that'll be really interesting. Hockey's going crazy.
Yeah, it's gone
Did
Kobe
you see
crazy
today
now.
Koskinen? So the Oilers,
Yeah.
Dave Tippett calls out Matt Koskinen. Now Matt Koskinen fires back today
Good for
and
him.
says, "Hey, you know what?
I agree with him.
Out of the last 6 losses, this
Yeah.
team's only scored 7 goals for me.
Yeah, can't score.
I can't score goals." There's
Yeah.
trouble in paradise, I tell you. When you have the top 2 players in the world,
It's unbelievable.
arguably, for sure number 1, definitely number 2 or 3.
2-3.
Top 5 anyway.
100%.
And you're playing like this, something has to give. And,
What is it,
again,
Jesse?
we've
What-
said it
what is
before.
But
Again,
what is it?
goaltending is an issue. There's no question.
Okay, but
I agree with Dave Tippett on that.
Minus that. Minus the goal
Team
tending. Because
defense.
Here we go. Interesting.
Now, when I say team defense, I mean, yes, I don't think their back end is that good. I think Nurse is overrated. I think Duncan Keith's experiment has tragically failed, as I called that it would. But as a team defense, and this is what I mean.
Yeah.
Here I'm gonna infuriate the Oilers fans right now because I'm gonna bring the Calgary Flames into this. We're playing
please.
at least 10 times better than anyone projected them to be playing this year.
You mean Calgary?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Why? Because they've bought in, and as much as I don't like it, as much as I think Daryl Sutter was old school and all that stuff, he's proven something. That a team can play defense. And you know the number 1 defensive turnaround this year is their number 1 player, Johnny Gaudreau, who's ironically the smallest guy on the team.
Yeah.
But Daryl Sutter said this guy's been the biggest turnaround. He can play both ways. He is now one of the most versatile players in the league because he can do this.
Yeah.
That being said, what I'm saying is that there's a team dynamic that they've built there that Edmonton has not built. Connor McDavid is not a Sidney Crosby type leader. He's not an Alex Ovechkin type leader.
No.
He's not a Wayne Gretzky type leader. He's not a Mark Messier type leader.
He's not.
He's not a leader. And that is a big issue because if you expect him to carry people, like they all say, well, Connor's just got to put him on the back. He's got to put him on the back. But he doesn't say anything or make them listen anymore. It looked like he was going to start.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning of the year, we're like, oh, maybe he's going to start doing that. He has not. He's gotten frustrated, and it's very clear. And he doesn't have the team. I can't explain why.
Before his contract's over, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here on the Me and Jesse podcast. Before he gets to the end of this contract, he is a Toronto Maple Leaf. Like, whoa. I'm going to tell you right before. I hate to say this to people, but this is what's going to happen. Before his contract comes to an end, he'll be a Toronto Maple Leaf because we all know what happens now, Jesse. You don't make the playoffs this year. You technically
if you don't make the playoffs, there's big trouble.
You didn't make the playoffs last year. Okay, technically,
right?
Like
you're right.
Whatever.
You're right about that. Yes.
Yeah, because there was some bullshit going on there that they kind of called it playoffs or whatever it was, a playoff to playoff, and now if they don't make it this year, we're going on a run for not making playoffs here in Edmonton, and you got the 2 best players in the NHL, top 3, 4 for sure, and now you're trying to say to yourself, oh my God, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. What are we going to do? Listen, I'm telling you, Draisaitl's not going anywhere. Okay, Draisaitl is the.
Do you think he could be the expendable piece right now, though? To get like
a
D and another like.
Yes, but I think they'll burn down. I think they'll burn down Rogers' place if they trade McDavid. So they would.
Not
they would
McDavid.
literally
I meant Draisaitl. Yeah.
No, I mean McDavid. They would burn it down.
100%.
But what I'm.
But I don't think he is. I don't think you do trade him. I think if anyone, it could be Draisaitl because obviously you're going to get a ton for him. Yeah, and you could get something for Nuge right now too. But obviously Draisaitl, you're getting a number 1 defenseman in the league.
Yeah,
plus
100%.
Plus, you could probably get a couple draft picks and a couple other players. You could probably get 4 players that could start on your team and a couple draft picks. I know it's crazy, and again, Oilers fans would go nuts because they're like, "How do you replace Draisaitl?" Well, you can't. I get it. You can't replace him, but you could fill your team out to a place where you could actually start to be.
But what about you look at the grand scheme of things too, though. If they don't make the playoffs this year, Tippett's gone for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think I think that's what they've done the last number of times. And
I know, but this is an ongoing trend here, right?
Yeah,
you know,
and it shoots himself in the foot again. Just stick with this guy. At least this guy
Has some hockey sense.
I don't mind the last coach either, but at least this guy can say stuff, and I like a coach that says something. Yeah. And again, like, okay, single out Koskinen. I think that's a safe person to single out because he's not like the number one.
Or is he? But is he?
Yeah, I guess you don't know any of the other guys. Who knows? But you call out one of those guys that are kind of the fringe guys that maybe the other team was like, okay, well let's try to go to bat for him and try to work it up. So I don't mind him doing that. So I do think that Tippett isn't the wrong coach. I just don't. I think it's deeper in the dressing room.
Oh, but if your top guy's not a talker, your number two guy's not a talker. So who are we going to? I was funny because I saw Mike Smith lots during the holidays, and I don't know Mike Smith. I've never talked to Mike Smith, but my next door neighbor, his kid plays with the kid. They got an ice rink in the backyard. So there's some high level hockey in my neighborhood. Okay.
Yeah.
So like very high level, right? These kids are good. So Smith's dropping off his kid. He looked like he's pretty good. After I talked to the father next door and I said, hey, how's he feeling? And he says, oh, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. And I thought, oh, great. We're talking about a 41-year-old goalie.
Yeah.
But you know why the Oilers need him? Because he is a guy of character. That's one thing we can all agree on.
Yeah, there's one thing about Mike Smith. He is an actual leader. He's probably the only one.
But that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine you're waiting on your goalie? That's not really
yes,
even...
I know, and I don't like that either. We saw that experiment with Luongo in Vancouver years ago. Remember they put the captaincy on his jersey, and
correct.
It just isn't the right person to be that guy.
Correct, and that's my point. My point is when I was asking about Smith, I said, how's he feeling? Oh, it feels good. And I said, I hate to say this, but I think they need him back, not even as a goalie, but standing in the dressing room, holding people accountable. Because you notice how the coach would never say about him, oh.
No, you wouldn't, because the guy's going to work hard. And that's the other thing, too, is that Mike Smith is that leader. He's going to show the work ethic. He's going to do all that stuff. But he also is more, he could be a coach when you think about it, right?
Yes.
Like he could actually be that guy to help
eventually.
The team. And again, like I thought, they really believed Duncan Keith would come in and be that guy, and it just hasn't happened.
No.
And
I thought it was going to happen too, and I thought, oh, maybe it'll happen, and it has not. But that's about all I want to
me in that team. Like Duncan Keith didn't have to be a guy in Chicago because you got Jonathan Taves. To me, is one of those guys that is one of the utmost leaders. Say what you want about his play in the playoffs, the guy shows up. Jonathan Taves knows how to lead a team, and he's won multiple Stanley Cups. So Duncan Keith, yes, it was a part of that, but I don't think he was as big of a leader as they say he was.
No.
And so it just hasn't happened in Edmonton.
Can we do something special this year? Let's move on from the Oilers because there's so many more exciting things to talk about than them. Listen, I want to talk about this ongoing 6-game winning streak from our Raptors that they've won 6 in a row, and Freddie has now stepped up and said,
Fred's an all-star.
I'm an all-star.
Yeah.
I want the ball. Yeah. Give me the ball.
Fred, you knew. Like, I remember 5 years ago, you knew. Like, you like Fred. Okay, Fred is one of those guys that if he develops right, he could be the guy. And Correct. He is the guy. He is the guy, absolutely. He's a great leader. Talk about leadership. The guy's a leader. Like, he controls the team. I mean, when you lose Kyle Lowry, Kyle Lowry, one of the greatest leaders in the league.
Yes.
One of the greatest,
I love him.
Defensive players and just all around clutch. Yeah. And you're like, you can stand to lose Lowry because you have Powell. Not Powell. You have Van Vliet. I forgot about Powell because we lost.
No, because let me remind you of that. You said that 2 years ago when we were discussing it on the QT. You were saying he could go, but you said they had to keep Powell and Fred.
Well, I wanted Powell too, but I realized why they traded Powell, and I love Gary Trent Jr. I actually love Gary Trent Jr. And I'm glad they signed him, and I think that Gary Trent could be the Powell. And you can tell, like, his game is elevated, and he's growing as a player, and he looks good. I love Scotty Barnes too, and right now, Masai looks like a genius. He really does. He does. Isn't doing what we thought, and again, at the time, I was upset. I'm like, man, I could have taken a runner on Scotty Barnes. I'm not sure, but Scotty Barnes has fit in. Looks like he could be a dude. If him and Pascal could ever, get that thing rolling, but we still need. We need. Now it's evident we need big guys.
Can we talk about DeRozan for 1 second though? In this equation,
he's.
No, yeah, but can we talk about it? We have to talk about it. There's a little.
You know what though? I'm gonna say this.
Okay.
DeRozan, I love DeRozan.
Me too.
But I think DeRozan needed this
for him
to become what he is.
Yeah. You're right. I just was curious on your take on that. Because he falls in the equation of all these guys.
Yeah,
right?
because you're like, well, if we still have DeRozan, we still have DeRozan.
That's right.
I don't know if he becomes that
because of all the things in the way.
Because of getting traded, going through the adversity, going through all that stuff, traded again, going to having to be the guy again, realizing, hey, I wasn't that guy maybe. Now I am that guy.
Do you think the Raptors are thriving in this no fan thing going on right now? Because they're winning with no fans. Yeah, they're doing great.
In all honesty about this whole streak right now, I'm a little skeptical about it because when you're not one of those teams that are challenging, they do run out some of your lesser players against you.
You know as well as I do, Jesse. But winning 6 in a row.
I agree. Now we're going to see what happens now because what you can do if you can win 6 or 7 out of the next 10, because teams now are okay, and now we can't mess around with these guys right now. We got to
start everybody.
We got to start guys now.
Yeah.
The next 10 games to me is obviously a big one, and then you start talking maybe they can eke into the playoffs. Now basketball is much different than hockey, obviously.
But do you notice that too? Why don't we see that more, Jesse, in basketball? Because I'm going to say
Cinderella runs kind of thing.
No, not just Cinderella runs, but player runs. Like you see Siakam, he'll go on these runs of like 4 or 5 games where he looks like he's unconscious, and then all of a sudden he disappears. He falls off the map. And I'm going to bring up a few names, okay? And I know a few of them you're not going to like. But you want to talk about LeBron, right? He goes on runs. He basically went on 9 games in a row, 30-plus points. Yeah. These are not runs. This is like a lifestyle for these guys, right?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is you have the LeBrons and you have these guys, but in Toronto hasn't done that yet. Toronto hasn't had that guy that can just go, okay, guys, I got my hand up in the dressing room. I'm good for 28 to 32 points tonight for the next 14 games in a row.
Right? And that's the thing about this team, this Raptor team, is that you got about 7, 8, 9 guys that are all the same level, that are all starters in the NBA. They could all be starters in the NBA, but none of them are that.
6 men, or a 6 man on the Lakers, or 6 man on the Jazz.
You start. What I don't really get is why they aren't running those. And again, maybe there is a bigger drop than I'm seeing, but why not run those 9, 10 guys constantly to wear out the other side? I don't. But again, like maybe he's tried that and it's just not working as well. But, we kind of expected this 50-50 year from them because you lost a lot. You didn't get a big man back. You don't have any big men now.
But if they can turn it into a 65-35 year, then you can you
develop Barnes a little more.
Yeah,
you make a move and you pull in another big man. I think losing Ibaka was big. Like,
we're finding out now.
Yeah, that was.
We're finding out now. Yeah,
I mean, having him would have been great still, and he really
another great leader.
Another great leader. He really helped Siakam.
Yeah.
I think Siakam really liked him, and it obviously it's messed things up there.
But we know Siakam too. If he can go on runs of 4 or 5 games.
Again, Siakam can be the most skilled guy on the floor sometimes.
100%. But he can't go past that.
Sometimes he doesn't show up.
Yeah, correct.
And then when it's time for the game winner, he freezes.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed about him is that like he can't pull a LeBron 12 games in a row, 14 games in a row. He can't do that. And
I hope he can. But I think he needs another guy. I think he needs another guy with him.
What about this Djokovic thing in Australia?
He's allowed to play again.
No, you're not reading it correctly, my friend. He is not. He's allowed to stay in Australia.
Okay.
I did my research prior to the show just to make sure that I wasn't going to be misquoted by anybody chiming in, that he is allowed to stay in Australia, but he still is not allowed to play.
He's not allowed to play?
Not yet. So they're still petitioning that. Now, you got tennis players that are upset because they're saying, hey, listen, we didn't want to get vaccinated
Well,
either.
he won the appeal to stay there. Right. Okay. I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, stay there, but not yet to play. And one thing about Australia is whack, okay? Because Australia, they don't care. They are, they are the same country that was talking back in the day about, hey, if you don't want to live like Australians, you guys can bounce, right? And that's
this is the thing that in Australia, there's 4 provinces, and it's divided down the middle.
Correct.
Half the country is screw this. Half the country is like, oh my God, Armageddon. Yeah. And it's weird.
It's so true.
A weird thing.
So
but again, like I'm just reading now, Djokovic looks like pretty confident that he's going to play.
Do you think the reason why Djokovic is getting backlash is because he was cracking off? See, this is where I have the problem. Everybody's getting vaccinated that plays in this tournament. He does not want to get vaccinated. He says it's a medical exemption. I have no problem with that. My opinion on this as well. I don't think you should have to force someone to get vaccinated, regardless of what it is. It's a free country. And so the part that bothered me about Djokovic is he was kind of cracking off about how he didn't have to get vaccinated. And I didn't think that was necessary. Right. So that's where I thought where the problem started to be. That's where the problem became for him, is because he was cracking off, and now citizens of Australia
have to.
But people in Australia are now saying, "Hey, wait a second, man. Why do we have to get vaccinated? He doesn't."
Well, that's different.
And now you have the ongoing petition about we're not letting him play. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I obviously the joke today was that nobody watches Djokovic, but that's bullshit. Like Djokovic is a huge draw. There's no question. As much as you and I both, I don't really not a Djokovic fan. I would still watch Djokovic play.
So do I. And what's crazy? I said this to people today. I go, I'm Croatian. He's Serbian, but his coaches are Croatian. He's got Goran Ivanisevic is one of his coaches. And so when I was looking at it, and I thought to myself, I said, well, listen, there's no secret. I'm vaccinated. I'm triple vaxxed or whatever you call it. But I don't think anybody should be forced to be vaccinated. I've always said that right from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a free country. You have to have the ability to tell people, yes, you get vaccinated, you get, and I told you, I got vaccinated because when I went to my son's wedding, they said, you have to get vaccinated. So I said, okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. I just waved it and I said, oh, okay, whatever I believe doesn't matter. I'm going to my son's wedding. Now, same with Djokovic. I don't think you should force him to do anything. But now that if the country is deeming this to be this way,
I don't know the full rules in Australia. I know that some, like I said, some is one way and some is the other way. I know where Sydney is that definitely I don't know if it's mandatory that you get it or not. I'm not 100% sure how that works there.
Yeah.
But again, like it is one of those things that you weren't supposed to travel and weren't supposed to participate in certain things. If you
think
weren't.
you think the ATP would have had this organized prior to him showing up in Australia?
You'd think that they would have thought ahead.
Yeah. Yeah,
hey, someone would have this Australian Open coming up. Hey, do we have
he's
any,
the number one player on the planet.
That top 3 in the world that aren't vaccinated? Maybe we should think about talking about this first.
Yeah, someone dropped the ball, and it wasn't. I don't think it was the Australian Open. I think it was.
It's the ATP. It has to be.
Yeah, it has to be them, right?
Yeah, they're the governing body of the sport, so.
That's what I think people should start looking into. We're all yelling at Djokovic, and then other people are screaming, "Get vaccinated, get vaccinated." No, we should be yelling at the ATP.
The same with the NFL.
Yeah, because we should be yelling at them because they caused this problem. Yeah. Djokovic could be in his villa in wherever he lives, because he probably lives all over the place. So he could be in his villa somewhere. This never even had to happen. He wouldn't have gone on a plane to get there if he thought this was going to be an issue.
Exactly.
Now he shows up getting ready for this event, and now he's standing there, and they tell him, "Hey, bro, you can't even come in our country." Yeah. And it's like, wait a second. Why would you let me fly here?
Yeah,
I'm not Joe the plumber. I'm the number one tennis player on the planet. So why don't you guys figure this out? Now that's what bothers me about the whole situation. It doesn't bother me that he's not vaxxed. It doesn't bother me that he is or isn't. It bothers me that it got to this. Yeah. And you say to yourself, who didn't check that box?
Well, there's a lot of that going around with this whole pandemic.
Yeah, there really is.
It's all fly by the seat of your pants. Nobody knows what the hell's going on anywhere, really, when you think about it.
Well, look what just happened in NHL. Literally,
the World Juniors.
Yeah, no, well, Omicron comes along. They say it's basically like a advanced cold.
Right.
And no, they didn't even say advanced cold. They said it's like a cold. They didn't. It's a cold.
Yeah.
So, and then they said, "Oh, we're going to cancel the World Juniors." And I'm like, "Oh my God!" And the Canadians,
Two people
we were
had
going to
it.
win.
Yeah.
And I know, but Canada was going to win this year too, man. I'm like,
It
"Oh
looked
my
good.
God!"
And it was in Edmonton.
Yeah.
I had friends that had tickets that had them for
They
a
look
few
good.
years, and
They look
and
good.
they're very upset about it.
Canada looked real good, right? So,
But hey,
I was
you know what? That's that is what. And again, like, without getting too political, like people want to say that it isn't. It is.
Yeah.
It is all political. You can't deny that. Like, you can't deny that there's agendas thrown around. One person thinks this way, one person thinks that way. Hey, what does the public opinion think of us this way? What does it think of it this way? And we know that, and I'll say it, the people that complain the loudest win. And that's how it is for sports now. You look at everything. Like, it's, if you complain more than everybody else win, and that's, going back to the F1 thing, that's what Mercedes was trying to do. Hey, if we complain enough, maybe we'll get our way. And that's been going on. But that's been going on in F1 for a while now. It has. It is part of what happens. But again, it is one of those things that there's a reason why they do it. It works.
But at the
look
same
at soccer.
Oh, Jesus.
Right? Like, we know sometimes why the players go down. They're tired or whatever, taking a break, killing time.
Soccer's atrocious, though.
Whatever.
It's atrocious.
But we know that complaining works. We know that it does. We know in hockey, when you go and talk to the ref in the corner after something bad happens to your team, you're like, hey man, but what about this? And this kind of thing. And you know that it's going to work for you in favor in the next time. And in baseball, hey, that's not a strike. That's good. Manager comes out and then the umpire feels bad and calls the next one a strike. And you're like, it's one of those human things that happens all the time, is that complaining. There's a reason why people complain, is because it works. It's definitely. Like, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I think one thing 2021 left us with sports is that officiating has sucked. And it really needs to change. Look at every single sport. F1, NFL, hockey,
but I don't get,
baseball.
Jesse, you look at even hockey now. There's 4 officials on the ice.
I know.
4. I know.
I
think there's too many.
But one guy, who was the guy that got in trouble for saying, like, hey, we all manage the game our own way? And you're like, it's true, though. And if there was honesty with it, I'm okay. I'm okay if, you're like, we talked about this. We talked about this with Frank Trigg, I think.
Okay.
UFC ref. Those guys, the people that know the sport really well, know how to call it. And he said something really interesting. He's like, okay, I think it was him that said this. He's like, okay, if I'm in the UFC, I'm going to let things go a little further. But if I'm at my gym where there's like amateurs sparring, I'm going to call it sooner. Because, hey, that's an amateur. That guy's got to go to work at, the gas station the next day.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I'm going to call it. So the problem with the sports is that we seem like guys are all over the map on what way they're calling this.
Well, NFL's the worst, because
and NFL has been atrocious.
It's horrible, because now in the NFL you have X amount of line judges, you have the main referees, you have all the stuff. Now you have video replay. You have even the red flag to throw in on the sideline. So you look at.
But you can't challenge a penalty.
I know, but
they changed that out. They took that out, right?
Yeah, I know. But look at the buffer, though. They're trying to put in.
Yeah.
They got the referees, and there's a million of them. Then you got the video replay. Then you got the red flag to toss in at last resort. And what is pass interference right now in the NFL?
That's the thing this year.
Can anybody explain to me what pass interference is? Because you realize we have instant replay. We have instant replay where we
watch
can
it 2 seconds after it happens.
We can watch it. And I understand, but I've seen the referees standing right there. Now, you might be standing on the back side of the play, not watching what we're watching on the front side of the play. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter. You can clearly see when something is pass interference.
See, I don't understand why. And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long, right? Like, because when we're watching a broadcast, the play happens. 5 seconds later, they replayed it. Let's say 5 seconds. Yeah. Why can't the ref throw that flag? Okay, say, hey, I think that's a flag. Throws it. 5 seconds go by. He looks up the screen. That wasn't a call. Picking up my flag.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a big deliberation. He can say, hey, I thought I saw this. It wasn't that.
Because you see the opposite angle on the screen.
Right.
So then you can see he was grabbing his jersey in the inside or whatever the case may be. But right now, I'm telling you, the referees are determining games. They are literally determining games.
There's been so many games this year that have happened inside a game itself that a call is blatantly, and then the exact same thing happens, and then it's not a call. And
That's
you're like,
right. Yeah.
How does this make sense?
Yeah,
and all it does
in
is
hockey too.
infuriates us.
We've been seeing that in hockey now too, as well. We've been seeing lots of that in hockey, but NFL, they're the worst. And you would have to think
it's the worst right now.
And you have to think with the amount of money that's involved with NFL.
Well, I think that
how that could be like that is
this year
insanity.
they have to go and address this refereeing thing.
Yeah.
Like they have to.
But does anybody know? We're gonna figure that out what they're paid because you know what's fun.
That's a known number
because and the NHL referees and linesmen are making big money now.
I know the NFLs don't make as much.
And I know in the NHL right now, the main referee guys are making $500,000-$600,000 a year American with playoffs. So that's good cake. So you would think that they would be studying more, training more, getting ready more to be better officials. Now, I don't know what it is in the NFL, but I'm going to find out tonight after the show, and I want to know what they're paid. Because I think that does reflect on how serious you take something.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a few different kind of reports about it.
Sure.
It's about $15,000 a game.
Yeah.
For the head ref.
So hopefully he does what, 12 games a year, 14 games a year, maybe 16.
Well, he might do. No, they should do one a week.
Okay, so he's
So
10, 150,000.
They say about 220,000 they make a year.
Yeah. And
so
playoffs.
NHL refs.
Yeah, you'll see. Big cake.
165,000 a season.
No, it's more, Jesse. That's for like a beginner kid that's just starting. Check with like those guys make what they make. They're in the 500,000 range. I'm positive.
No, that's not what they're saying here.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, that's the benefit. See this jersey right here?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he just told me the other day. That's why I brought it up.
Really?
Yeah. Check deeper.
Well,
like
I know there's a seniority thing.
There is, but the Van Hellemans and all those guys are making $400,000 or $500,000 a year, U.S. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's why
this one guy said today's NHL referees starts at 165 and goes up to 400,000.
There you go. Plus playoffs.
And then playoffs you get
extra case. Yeah, that's US too, right?
So between 1,500 and 3,000 a game. So, in reality, like obviously it's a lot. It's crazy though because they do a lot more than NFL refs.
I totally agree.
You have to be
and then,
pretty
you got
to have some old dude reffing hockey anymore.
No,
so,
and you have to be you have to skate because of the speed of the game now.
Exactly.
Is so fast.
They can say they can make an additional 18,000 per round.
Yeah,
in the playoffs.
That's right.
So that's another $2 for $80,000 you could probably make more.
So
So you could make a lot of money.
Yeah. But even if you're like in a middle of the road guy, you might be making around $200,000 a year to be a referee.
It says your start base salary is $165,000, which is
that's
great
what I'm saying.
still.
You make great money being a referee in the NHL.
But the thing is that the NFL, they're making a lot of money. They're making a ton of money, and they only work not even half the year.
That's right.
And they're making a bank load.
Well, I heard lots of officials in the NFL are retired judges and lawyers and things like that.
Yeah, somewhere. But why not? It's time to start getting some players in there, like Antonio Brown.
He fell off again.
That'd be great.
He fell off. He fell off again. He fell off again.
No, I'm on AB side this time.
Oh, I couldn't disagree with you more. I think he's a buffoon. I think he's a buffoon.
He was hurt.
No, listen. Let me explain to you. Did you see him jog off the field?
Yes,
no problem.
but he was hurt.
Oh, you guys, listen. If you buy that idiot's, let me explain.
He didn't practice Thursday. He didn't practice Friday.
Let me explain this closer because we're on people watch this show and stuff. He's an idiot. Okay, and let me explain this to you even more. It's people say, Mark, I can't believe you said that. He's got psychological problem. No, man, he doesn't. You know what he's got? He's got egomanianism.
I'm not going to disagree with that part,
And-
but
and-
the thing
I
is,
saw
is
him
that
talk. I saw him talk on a podcast 3 days ago, and he sounded like another idiot. He was throwing Tom Brady under the bus. He'll throw everybody under the bus if it doesn't go his way. He's the kid in the playground that wants to take his ball and go home. He should not be allowed to play in the NFL ever again. And listen. And if you want to pick him up, please, Dallas Cowboys, pick him up.
Seattle's picking him up.
Please pick him up because you're going to see it. It's just he's on an egg timer when he's going to explode again. It's just he was so Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that, and then they asked him the other day, why don't you follow him on Instagram? Because me and him aren't friends like that to follow him on Instagram. And I said, there he goes again, man. Total buffoon. And he sits there and talks so much shit. And then he wants to sit there and he wants to tell everybody, poor Antonio Brown. And no one's saying poor Antonio Brown anymore. It's done. It's done. Nobody. Except you, Jesse. Except you.
I'm not saying poor Antonio Brown. I'm saying I agree with Antonio Brown. He was hurt. He said, I'm hurt. I can't play.
I got F-bombs going through my head like
my
this.
My ankle hurts.
Listen,
I can't play, guys. Coach, you can't put me in. I can't do a route. And they're like, get in there, get in there. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on. He didn't practice. He legit didn't practice Thursday and didn't practice Friday. The guy wants to play.
He wants to play when he wants to play. He wants to play when he wants to play. And that's been Antonio Brown's thing his whole entire career. He was okay in Pittsburgh for a while. I don't know what happened. He was down in Pittsburgh, and then all of a sudden
you have to be friends with Ben Roethlisberger. And who wants to be friends with him?
Hey, can you imagine? They're still in. Pittsburgh's still in. They're playing KC this weekend. Hey, let's do that rundown. Let's do a rundown. We got the Chiefs playing the Steelers. What do you think?
Chiefs.
For people at home, Chiefs by how many?
You know, if they don't get 14.
14?
Yeah.
Bills and Patriots, good game.
Ooh.
Good game. Great
This
game.
is the game of the week.
I
got to hear the other ones, but I really like this matchup. I want the Bills to win.
I want the Patriots
Belichick, though,
knows
how to make this chubby quarterback do things.
Yeah, he does.
Matt isn't good. I don't care what I mean. He's not good.
Getting better.
He's not good. The guy can't throw more than 12 yards.
Yeah,
he's Derek Carr 2.0. The guy can't play. But Belichick knows how to make him work.
Yeah, he does.
It is smart. Bills, one of those teams that could explode for 40.
I'm checking that out.
Bills could explode for 40 or
going cheese?
Go for 10. I'm going to go KC. I'm going to go Bills.
You're going to go Bills?
I'm going to go Bills.
And you're going to go Raiders, Bengals.
Jeez, I'm going to go Bengals.
Okay. Shame on you. Okay, Bucks and Eagles, good game. Real good game.
Are you kidding me? This will be the biggest blowout that we've seen in playoff history. This will be a 30-point blowout.
Okay, you're taking the Bucks. Okay, and now we got the Cowboys and 49ers.
You know what?
Interesting.
Cowboys, the Niners snuck in. Debo.
They did.
Samuel's played a great season. The Cowboys are good, though. I hate to say it. They're good, and I think they're going to win that game.
Cowboys. Yeah. And then on the Monday nighter, can you imagine that? We have a Monday night wild card game. Yeah. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan of that one. And we have the Rams and the Cardinals.
You know, this is 6 weeks ago, this was the Super Bowl. Whoever won this game was the Super Bowl champ.
They were talking not no more, I don't think.
Man, oh man, it's tough. I'm going to say
I'm
going to say the Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
the reason being is their defense. I know Rams are good, but I think Cardinals can match them, and I don't think the Rams can count for Kyler if Kyler's healthy.
Okay. Who wins MVP in the NFL this year?
Aaron Rodgers. As much as I hate it.
We agree. You know what's funny? And Bruce Arians came out and said, if Tom Brady doesn't win it, it's an absolute travesty.
Yeah. Bruce Arians says all he wants. It's Rodgers. Rodgers has a crappy team. I get it. Like you make.
They got a shot. They got a shot.
Devontae Adams look awesome, and Devontae Adams on any other team, I don't know. Like I'm not sure. Like Aaron Jones, I don't really like him as a running back. Like they don't have a great D. They don't have a great O line. Like it's the Aaron Rodgers show, and if you don't have Aaron Rodgers, they go 2 and whatever. Like, I think they win 2 games if
they got a chance to win it. They got a chance to win the whole thing.
Yes, I think they're favorite.
I do too.
I think
I think my dad's smiling right now watching this.
I know.
He loves his Green Bay, man. It's Sam Elvey too, former guest.
I do think that they're a big favorite. It's much and hey, why not Mike drop Aaron Rodgers himself out of there with a championship? Mike drop out.
Everybody's shitting all over him. I love him. I think he's great. I mean,
no,
he's just.
I hate him.
Oh, I
hate him.
I love him.
I hate Aaron Rodgers.
I love him. You know why?
I think he's the most arrogant, cocky SOB out there, and he looks like a plumber.
That's Patrick Mahomes you're talking about.
No.
Yeah, that's the most arrogant prick in the NFL.
No. Can't deny that Rodgers looks like a plumber. If
I
he
don't
was
care what he
fixing
looks like.
someone's sink, you would have no question. You wouldn't even guess that guy was an NFL quarterback.
Come on. No way.
That mullet is horrible.
Horrible. I don't know what he's doing, but
he looks like a plumber.
Yeah, he does. It's goofy.
But he's going to be the MVP, and he should be.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But hey, the Bucks again. Like, I want to see that matchup. I want to see that. I want to see Brady and Rodgers go at each other. I would love that. I think that would be great.
In a perfect world.
Yeah, They can't win the Super Bowl though. But they.
No.
But we have to see them play each other. We have to.
Yeah, which would be great. What do we got here?
Was that it? Was that all the games?
Yes, that's the lineup. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Who
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
You didn't
12
say
games.
Packers play.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, they have a bye though.
Oh, right. Okay. I see what
they
you're
have a bye, right?
Yeah.
So bye. So
okay,
I'm just talking about
both buys. Yeah.
I was just talking wild card. Wild card weekend.
Okay, well, you disagree with the Raiders. Obviously, you're gonna have to take.
Well,
Raiders.
I think the Chiefs are gonna kill the Steelers. I think the Patriots are gonna win. I think Belichick is just smarter than everybody else, and I think he got really pissed off about not making the playoffs the year when Tom Brady left. So he's basically kind of
that's gonna be a good game. That will be a good game.
I totally agree. And then of course I'm gonna go with the Raiders just on momentum alone, and then I'm gonna go with the Bucks beating the Eagles. I'm going to go with the 49ers to beat the Cowboys.
Ooh.
And, Garoppolo. And I just hate the Cowboys.
Can't even say it with a straight face. That guy is trash. Garoppolo's. It's going to be Trey Lance. We know that. Trey Lance isn't that much better, but he's better than Garoppolo.
Well, he's not better because he has to learn the system. It's not college football anymore. And listen, I'm going to go with Stafford against the
that's a tough one too. That's a tough one to pick.
Listen, I think Stafford. He's always
that one has to be an even game to me. I can't see.
It is. It is
right now.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I think that is a really. I mean, that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, great game. And the lineup is fantastic. Like, it's Saturday, Sunday, and Monday football. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this is fantastic. I don't know if they did this on accident or this is purpose. No. Yeah, because it's never been a Monday night.
I think they started that with the wild card having the Monday night.
No, never. First year ever. Monday night. For sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know they did Saturday, Sunday always. They always did a
Saturday, Sunday, but never a Monday night game. And I think that just puts the whole thing, in a really good light. So
yeah, no, it is. It's smart. I like that. I hate Thursday night games. I hope they stop that.
Me too. I'm done with it too. I don't like it.
I like the weekend. I like Sunday and Monday.
Me too. I'm a Sunday, Monday, and I love Sunday night. I don't care who's playing Sunday night.
Sunday nighter is a good one. I love
the Sunday night games. I don't care who's playing. And then I love my game, which is either 2:00. And then the Sunday nighter, and then the Monday nighter. So minimum, I watch 3 football games a weekend, minimum. And I'm talking in peace. No people around me. I'm sitting there. Food is brought to me. I live the blessed life, my friend. And I'm sitting there, and I just want to watch football. And I'm going to do that till the day I die.
Well, that's not bad. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, I know. There's no argument here. I just want to do that forever.
So Spruce Grove, where I live.
Yes.
We're getting a baseball team. Canadian
Which
baseball.
Which is exciting.
Very exciting.
Double A, right? Double.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference. Double A, triple A.
Yeah, it's kind of double. Maybe single double. It's not the greatest, but hey, it's cool. We're getting a new stadium, getting myself some season tickets, $400 for 28 games, which actually only turns out to like $14 a game.
You can't beat it.
You can't. I'm going to buy two tickets right down the third baseline. And,
Fantastic.
You don't want to come out and Spruce Grove and hang out sometime, everybody. Well, you know where I'll be.
That's fantastic. So
I'll be drinking a beer.
And a hot dog. You have to have a hot dog and beer.
Yeah,
You have to. You have to. I love going to ball games. I told people.
I loved Seattle's stadium. I was obviously being in Vancouver. We drive down all the time to Seattle. Yeah. Safeco, Kingdom before that, but Safeco was a beautiful ballpark.
It was. Yeah.
The garlic fries, and I was getting garlic fries and Ken
Griffey Jr. Man, Ken Griffey Jr. What do you call
the foot long? And you'd go back your seat and try to carry the beers under your armpits with the things. And I love live baseball because it's a social event.
It is.
It's not so much about the sport. It's about the people you're with. It's about having conversation and talking to people around you, and you're watching America's pastime, which I still call it that. But it is. I do love baseball, and so I will definitely have a couple season tickets to that.
And that starts this summer coming up.
No, actually, they had to push it back. It's going to start 2023 now. Yeah, it sucks.
Bad.
I know.
It's too bad.
The stadium should be almost done by next fall, and then the next spring, summer, there'll be the games. But I'm excited because they're building a new stadium, and it's going to have like a brewery in it. It's going to have all the cool restaurants in it and stuff, which is great.
I love hearing that.
And then my point with bringing that up is that also Spruce Grove has one of the best Alberta junior hockey teams in the Spruce Grove Saints.
That's right.
I really think it's time that we start supporting. You know, when I talk about supporting local, you and I always support local, but we need to support local sports too. And I really think that there's there's Edmonton Soccer with Canadian Soccer League now, and
Jesse,
I would love to have an MLS. Imagine having an MLS team here, Mark.
Jess, can you imagine? Listen, let's talk about what we do have here.
Yeah,
we have the Stingers. Are you guys
so
kidding me? Bang for the buck. They're the best. And listen,
and Xavier Moon
is playing right now, everybody, for the LA Clippers.
Oh, the Clippers, sorry,
Clipper, he's playing for the Clippers right now. They signed him on a 10-day contract. Now they just signed him for another 10-day contract, which I'll bet $1 they'll sign him for the rest of the year.
That guy likes every single comment I make about him. He
does.
He always does. He knows when we sit there on court side, like, oh yeah, it's that guy.
Yeah, he does.
It's hard to miss us, but
bang for the buck.
It is amazing.
The best dollar spent in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
I think so.
Going to a Stingers game. I'm telling people at home. I went with you and our dear friend Ken Franchuk, and I couldn't stop laughing. My stomach was in pain for 3 days after because you and Ken were heckling the other team so bad. And you know what's funny? You think I would be some form of heckler, but I'm not, right? Because I don't want to have a confrontation with people. And it's funny because you were fantastic. Like you have an A+ for shit talk. Like there's guys that can shit. There's guys that can shit talk. Jesse, you should teach a course on shit talk because it was fantastic. I think that I don't know why the Stingers haven't made you like an honorary fan and gave you the best
Drake of the Stingers.
Oh, I think you're better than Drake because your character is more out there, right? Robust. And I don't know why the Stingers haven't reached out to you and said, Jesse, can you just please come to every game and sit? And we'll give you like 4 seats, but you can bring 3 of your friends or 2 of your friends, whatever. But you have to be here because it is truly different when you're there.
It is honestly, it is an amazing league, the Canadian Elite Basketball League. And
it really is.
We need to get the president on the show. And
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, let's get him. Because it's time, because it is a good league. Like, it is awesome. The drop down to me from the NBA to this, to the NFL to the CFL, this basketball gap is much shorter.
We said that last year, early last year, people thought we were crazy. And now Xavier Moon from the Edmonton Stingers is playing for the Clippers.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys, but there you go.
Yeah, there's not many that direction in the CFL to NFL.
No, not anymore. And what I'm saying is, you did hear about it back in the day with the Warren Moons and things like that, and the Fluties. They did cross over. But what I'm trying to tell you is that when I went to the game and they put up 106 points, I was like, whoa, wait a second here. I thought, the speed of the game was fantastic. It was a step and a half behind the NBA.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love live basketball. It's my favorite live sport. Well, I know I said I love live baseball too, but basketball is my favorite live sport to be at.
It's great.
It's amazing, and I think that's an amazing thing. I think that our soccer team, I would love to see MLS, but hey, until we can prove that Edmonton, the Canadian League, that we can support that, we don't deserve an MLS team probably.
But if we had
with
an
that
MLS
Canadian with the Canadian men's team, we forgot to talk about that. The Canadian men's team was here. That was playing Mexico and beating Mexico, for crying out loud.
The snowbank, when he dove into the snow,
iconic.
when he dove into the snowbank,
they will show that at the World Cup. Canada makes the World Cup. They will show that clip.
I lost my mind. I lost my
incredible.
mind, Jesse, when he jumped into the snowbank, and I thought to myself, "Is it possible? Is it possible that Canada can make it to the World Cup?
It's possible now.
It actually is possible,
it's possible now.
It's very possible."
Alphonso Davies is unreal, and there's a guy that elevates everybody around him, right? You have to play off Davies. You have to cover Davies.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to be available, and we have some good talent. So, it was that was great. That was an amazing game. At best you're hoping a 1-1 draw or something. Yeah. And they come out and put it on them. Really.
It's unbelievable. Well, let's be honest though. Who is the genius that came up with the idea?
That guy needs to have his own. If they make the World Cup, that guy needs to have a statue in soccer lore in Canada.
But who's the genius that came up with putting the soccer game on?
That's what I mean.
That schedule
in Edmonton in the coldest time.
Let me explain.
That's what I mean. That guy needs
fans.
to have a statue made of himself.
Because let me explain. Yes, because the poor Mexicans thought to themselves,
they came out mucho frío.
They couldn't believe it. They said this is the most bizarre thing they've ever experienced in their entire life. And every Canadian kid that played on that team at one time or another, maybe not that.
Well, Ontario, like Davies is from Edmonton. He knows.
Yeah,
like,
he knows.
He's
kicked the ball out. It's like cement the ball, right?
Oh,
yeah. But it's crazy. And the snowbank.
That was so cool.
Officially the play of the year on the Me and Jesse podcast.
Wow.
I think that was so patriotic. We're so scared as Canadians to, flex and to cheer and whatever. And that was special.
Dude,
and
for me,
and it came from the soccer world.
And that from, I think there was a turning point at 2010 Olympics where we finally started to say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Screw this. We're Canadian, for crying out loud. This is our sport. This is our time. We're going to, and again, I think it's going well. And that was a proof right there. It's like, hey, this is awesome. And the fans, that's what I mean too. The fans showed up in a freezing cold environment and supported it. And so I think that's important. Again, hockey doesn't need support. Like, it's always going to be hockey. Yeah. It is one of those things. But these other sports, like, we have such great, like, baseball and the basketball and soccer and I think we went to the Davis Cup here once. That was incredible.
Yep. It was great.
Watching Shapovalov play.
Yeah, that's right.
That was in Old Rexall.
That's right.
Northlands. And so, I love these kind of things that happen. And so you, wherever you live out there, I know you have a local team. And so try it out, go support it. And
it is fun. I tell you right now, I've been the biggest events in the world, and I still enjoy going to Stingers games. I'm going to get crucified for saying this. I enjoy going to the Stingers game this much more than going to an Oilers game.
Yes, well,
this
mine's
much more.
A lot bigger, but yeah.
Okay, but I'm being honest with you. It's just very uneventful. And what I'm trying to tell you is, at a Stingers game, I love it.
The atmosphere, everyone,
fantastic.
And again, I think they've done a good job. I think they can do better still. I think they can still bring it up another level, but I do think they put on a good show. I think the thing about basketball is the access you have to the floor, to the rest.
Totally.
Like, the refs talk to us. Like, we'd run by and said, that wasn't a foul. And, the one ref lady yelled at us. Like, that was so a foul. And came back and told us that, hey, no, this is why it's a foul.
Yeah, but that was great that she did that,
like,
though.
This is amazing. This is how this should be. And, and again, you don't want to, if you're you have a responsibility if you're courtside, but, you hold your hand out, and if they want to fist pump you when they run by, they're allowed to do that, and they will. Yeah. And that's what, you just hold it out, and they'll run by and do it. And then,
we got to get Xavier on the show, too.
Actually, that's a great idea.
We have to, because what he's doing right now is I'm almost emotional talking about it because I think it's so fantastic that he went from the Stingers to the NBA.
Yeah.
And we said that last year. We said, it is very similar. When you're putting up over 100 points in a game, the speed of the game, it's still the same time frame as an NBA game, which means if they're putting up 100 plus points, that means the speed of the game is very fast.
And they actually do that cool cap system at the end too, where if you have to hit 100 and whatever points and then you win. It's a really cool system, and I forget what it's called right now, but we can look that up. But anyway.
And don't forget, we have coming up, our former guest, Cyril Gann, is fighting next weekend.
Yes.
Not this weekend, next weekend. UFC 270 against the scariest man in the sport, Francis Ngannou.
The countryman facing off.
Yes, both from Paris, France. Cyril is a former guest on the Me and Jesse podcast. You can look it up on our YouTube channel. Cyril is fighting. He's the interim champion right now.
Hey, man, you called it. You said he was going to get a shot at this title.
I didn't say he's going to win. I don't know what's going to happen. I think Francis is just brutally scary. Okay, so I'm going for Cyril again.
Yeah,
there's no question. But Francis is different. Okay, he doesn't even have to hit you hard to knock you out. So that's the scary part. But we are going for Cyril. If anybody's got a shot in the heavyweight division, it is him. So we're praying that he wins. And then we got a great 2022 planned. With special guests. And don't forget, we're going to do something. The format this year is going to be different. Every month, we're going to return one guest from last year.
Yes.
So if anybody's been paying attention to Me and Jesse podcast, I know people watch all kinds of podcasts in the world, but we didn't repeat one guest last year. We had all original guests every week, all year long last year. This year, we're going to repeat your favorite 12 guests, the fans. We're going to put them on the show one in January, February, March, April, all the way through. Our favorite guest, one a month. We're going to do. So that's something to look forward to.
Plus all the new people we get to meet as well.
That's right. So that's kind of the game plan for the new year. And we're looking forward to it. And, just great guests. That's the number one thing about our podcast. Jesse and I can be as entertaining as we want, but great guests telling their stories, and not just about sports, about life in general. The Kelly Rudys of the world.
Yeah.
You remember that interview with Kelly Rudy and the George LaRocques?
Since then, and that's one of the things we asked. Like, since then, he's actually, because on this show, it was the first time he said it. He's like, I don't really talk about this, but I went to therapy. And now on his social media stuff, you'll always have updates about that kind of stuff. And he broke that here first.
Yeah, and Louis DeBrusque and George LaRocque and Donald Penn, and I mean there were so many great guests. Robin Black, you know what I mean?
I love Robin.
Our buddy Robin Black. He just so many Boss Rutens and so many great people from the MMA world, from the NFL, from MLS, Toss Ricketts. I mean, and he's doing great too in Vancouver. So I mean, it's just really fun. I can't express how much I enjoy it, how much I miss it when we're not doing it. And I'm super excited about 2022 and our dear sponsors, Crystal Glass for all your glass needs, 310 Glass, or go to crystalglass.ca.
Until next week, everybody, that is Mark Pavelich. I'm Jesse Martineau. This has been the most important 60 minutes you spent on the internet this week.
Let's go.
We'll see you next week for the Me and Jesse podcast.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse. Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse.